Beautiful Park City, Utah, site of stage 6 of the Tour of Utah, the final stage. Huge crowds in downtown Park City at the start-finish line, and the man in yellow as we go to the final stage, BMC's Johann Schopp, the Swiss rider. Stage 6 is next. Yesterday's stage 5, the Queen stage, took riders over and through Utah's mountains. 10,000 feet of climbing, early breakaways, a rough landing for one rider. The lead group rider is down.
That is a lot of pain for him. Schopp going on the attack.
And a daring move from the peloton result in Johann Schopp cruising to a Queen stage win and the yellow jersey. Johann Schopp has won the Queen stage of the 2012 Tour of Utah. The victory shuffles the GC deck. And with a 23% climb in today's final stage, the Tour title is still up for grabs. It's a mere 76 miles and 6,800 feet in elevation away. Beautiful Park City, Utah, with its rich mining heritage, nestled in the Wasatch Mountains, and the site of today's final stage of the 2012 Tour of Utah. Stage 6 presented by United Healthcare. It's time for a healthy, active lifestyle. Welcome everybody, Steve Brown along with Todd Gogalski at the foot of historic Main Street, the start-finish of today's final stage, the Empire Stage. And Todd, you had a chance to drive it this morning in the car. Impressed?
Yeah, that's an understatement. It's very much as hard as everybody's been saying it is. By far the hardest climb I've seen in a bike race in North America. We thought yesterday was hard and selective. Today's going to be harder.
Well, yesterday was hard. Let's go back to stage 5 and look at the climb up to Snowbird. And it was BMC rider Johann Schopp who made his break midway up Little Cottonwood Canyon. A daring move. The question is, could he hold it?
It was a very daring move. It was a long way to go. He rode away from all the biggest contenders in the race, but by the time he got up to Tanner's Flat, he had a fairly large lead that he had picked out over the peloton. He held that the rest of the way up to the summit, got his 3rd ever individual stage win, and in the process moved into the yellow jersey as the overall race leader. So a fantastic day for BMC, the American team, and their Swiss rider Johann Schopp now at the top of the standings. Christian Van de Velde went from 1st down to 2nd, and he still sits there just 38 seconds down.
So Todd, take us through today's stage 6.
A very tough 77 miles, probably the hardest 77 miles I've ever seen, starting and finishing in Park City. Early on, they already went through the sprint in Camas. They went through the Wolf Creek climb on the first climb of the day. The one that awaits everybody is Empire Pass, 23% maximum grade, a brutal climb, and a viciously fast descent to the finish line.
Well, you said that it is tough. The players concur when we ask them about stage 6.
Levi on Twitter put, "Hey, Tour Utah, how about this climb next year?" And it was a link to his Map My Ride site, and it showed that he climbed up the backside of Guardsman's, up to Empire Pass.
I wrote it after the race in training, and I sent Steve Miller an email. I said, "You got to throw this climb in there. It's brutal. It's one of the hardest climbs I've ever ridden."
It was a really interesting course, and we looked at the profile on it, and we were kind of shocked at it wasn't a terribly long route, but it was obviously a very difficult route. So needless to say, that got our attention, and then we went out and investigated it, and we said, yeah, this definitely has the makings of a stage of the Tour of Utah.
From what I've heard from some Pro Tour riders that have been on it, who've tested it out, they say the Empire Pass is the hardest climb that's been included in any stage race in North America.
Even if you had a couple minutes going into that climb on the GC lead, I don't think a couple minutes is going to be much of a safe margin going into a climb like that. It's pretty tough.
Been told by a lot of guys and a lot of friends that it's pretty brutal.
It's funny because I hear a lot of riders talking about that last climb on the last day, and well, you're welcome.
The 2012 Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah is brought to you by the Utah Office of Tourism, Utah, life elevated. United Healthcare. It's time for a healthy, active lifestyle. And by the Utah Sports Commission. Utah, the state of sport. Stage 6 of the 2012 Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah is presented by United Healthcare. It's time for a healthy, active lifestyle. Now look at the high clouds today overhead, but the sun is out, and here we are, Stage 6, Park City to Park City. They are in the middle right now, or actually the first third of the Empire Pass climb.
This is Christian Vandeveld here at the back, number 16. He's at the back of the peloton, so he's in a little bit of trouble right now. Remember, he's sitting second overall in the classification. He's the man who spent a bunch of days in the yellow leaders jersey, and this climb looks like it's starting to unravel his chances for a podium overall place.
Peloton just 1 minute and 10 seconds behind right now, and the lead group, you've got the two of them, Rory Sutherland in the blue. He was the second day yellow jersey leader, wearer, and actually wore it until Vandeveld took it away. And then Timmy Duggan right there straining number 51 as they continue to make their way up the backside of Guardsman's Way, as it's known locally, and then over Empire Pass before coming down into Park City for the finish. You're going to get a 200 meter to the summit designation, and that's got to be a welcome sign for Leipheimer.
Yeah, no doubt about that after a climb like this. And, you know, I have to say, Levi has got to be just incredibly disappointed that his Omega Pharma Quick Step team just completely imploded and let him down in stage number 2 and lost him 2 minutes and 3 seconds in the team time trial in 13.5 miles. That's what he's having to come back from as he gets the final KOM of the race, the toughest climb of the race. But he came into today 2:07 down. The clock now counts. Let's see how far back Schopp is.
Apparently they're just under 1K to the top, so he's got a pretty good lead on them right now. You'll see that clock continue to roll until they will go over the top, and you'll find out just how much of a lead Leipheimer actually does have as he comes down the descent. And the burn, that lactic acid buildup, that burn in your thighs and your quads right now has got to be just incredible. So a good feel to at least get the wind in your face to help cool you a little bit, get a little bit of that cooling on the sweat, and then to be able to just use the downhill.
Yeah, and the one tricky thing about the downhill is your body is absolutely like maxed out on the heart rate and your breathing, your respirations, and you hit the downhill and you have to relax and you have to focus on these corners, because if you don't, you're going to go off the road at 50 miles an hour in one of these corners.
And the clock continues to roll behind Leipheimer, approaching a minute now, the difference. Remember, he started at 2:07 behind the yellow jersey for the day. There's the speed on the moto. Looks like nearly 60 miles an hour.
Oh boy.
As we look at our yellow jersey wearer, Johann Schopp, the Swiss native wearing, or riding rather, for the BMC team, which is an American team, correct?
Yeah, indeed, it is sponsored by a Swiss bicycle company, BMC Bicycles, but it is an American team. They won the Tour de France in 2011 with Cadel Evans, and Levi Leipheimer here. Doesn't look like he's going to make it a three-peat, but this is a sterling performance by him today, and he also tore it up yesterday.
Should point out that the Omega Pharma team, this is his first year with that team. I'm wondering how long that association will last, or if the makeup of that team may change to come up to Levi Leipheimer after this tour is over. You know there will be discussion. You know there's certainly, it's not rocket science. Where did it come apart? It came apart in the team time trial. 1K now for Levi Leipheimer as he comes in to Park City to finish this Stage 6, the final stage of the 2012 Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah. Around the roundabout, actually he's going to take the inside loop right here, and he'll veer off, and then he'll be coming down to the finish where the crowds have gathered here at the lower end of historic Main Street in Park City.
A little check under the arm there. So he pretty much, I have a strong suspicion, knows that he doesn't have enough time for the overall win, but at least he's given a thumbs up there on his right hand to his team director, just saying, hey, happy to get the stage win, salvaging my race.
And the director knows how much difference there is, so that's, I'm sure that he would have heard and figured out how I would have heard had I been that close. The fact that he didn't, I'm sure, told him all kinds of things. As he comes in now to the final stretch, he sees the crowd, and here it is, the energy, the adrenaline, and for Levi Leipheimer as he crosses the finish line, the 2012 Larry H. Miller Tour of Utah is over. Well, he's happy with the stage win.
Yeah, he's very happy. I don't see him beat his chest like that. I don't know if I've ever seen him do that. So he wanted that. He worked hard for it. He got it. This is the chase group behind. The clock is ticking. I don't think there's any way at this point there's going to be 2 minutes for Chop. They're down in the second spot. The overall race leader, Koenig on the front. The reason why he's riding so hard is he doesn't want to lose his general classification place in the bike race.
You see the clock continue to roll, 23.7, 25. They're up now and at 300 meters to go. There's no way that it's going to be enough for Johan Chop to lose the yellow jersey. Come in, look at the crowds down Main Street here. It's been a great experience today to be part of the festivities. Such a European flavor. You hear the cowbells. It's a big-time road race, and it was big-time atmosphere for the final stage here, stage 6, as it's been all week from Ogden to Lehigh to Salt Lake City to Snowbird yesterday, out in Tooele. It's just been great crowds and great reception for these riders in the 2012 Tour.